Honorable Muwanga Kivumbi akedde ku kya National Platform n'annyonnyola President Kyagulanyi Ssentamu oba ne yeewozaako ku ssimu ebadde etambula ku mitimbagano nti no yayogedde ne General Museveni ng'abagamba mbu bave ku nkola za National Platform oba beesammule Kyagulanyi Ssentamu Robert Bobi Wine ku nsonga z'emmwanyi mbuno basaaze Kyagulanyi bagambe nti aba National Platform bonna bawagire emmwanyi General Museveni agitwale. Akatambi kano mwademu akawuliddeko nga Muwanga Kivumbi yagenda mu General Museveni ebigambo byabaddemu nga byogerwa avuddeyo n'annyola President Kyagulanyi Ssentamu Robert Bobi Wine kituufu yayogedde ne Museveni tine bino byabadde nga bali mu office ya Speaker Anita Amongi bwe babadde bamukunya ku kyemmwanyi n'akuba essimu n'akubira General Museveni n'amugamba mu bali wano bandi bubi baagala kundya mu maaso mbune chairman wa Buganda Caucus ali wano awayi mmwanyi naye andya mu maaso mukamuko oyo yogera naye n'amukakabu kasooka okwogera naye era naye n'agamba sijja kutiitiira kanchitwale kubanga bayinza okugamba muno feto alemeseza emmwanyi ze Museveni azitwale n'ayogera naye era yabadde oyogera nga bamulikodi kati kebatambuza okumusiga erinnya ebbi era zonna ensonga zinyonyodde bulungi era President Kyagulanyi naye n'amuddamu saba tufune ebigambo bya mukulu Muwanga Kivumbi engeri gye bakufunyamu essimu ne Museveni era nabiki yabaddemu byonna bitunyonyole very clearly.
Excellence, the President, the Secretary General, the National Organizing Secretary, honorable colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, have been given this opportunity. Once again, let me first explain who I am. I'm a chairperson of Uganda Parliamentary Caucus. And people should understand how I became a chairperson of Uganda Parliamentary Caucus. I'm deployed by the National Unity Platform to be chairperson of Uganda Parliamentary Caucus. It's because of our numbers in Parliament, in the caucus, that I managed to be elected a chairperson. Therefore, I give first accountability to my president and to the party. That's why I'm going to explain how far this is taken. Now, coffee. Why coffee? Coffee today is grown by 12.5 million Ugandans. They are in the coffee sector. Coffee today, this financial year alone, and Uganda net earnings 1.4 billion US dollars. 1.4 billion translated in shillings is nearly 5 trillion Uganda shillings. That's so remarkable. And why today? So when we are speaking about coffee, we are not speaking about any other crop. Two, coffee transcends Uganda. It's a national crop. Actually, there is a type of coffee that is not grown in Uganda at all. That is the Arabic coffee. It's grown in part of Western Uganda and in Bugisu region. But even today, coffee has transited the ordinary boundaries. It's no longer grown in Bugisu, in Uganda, in parts of Rwenzori. No. Acholi, Usoga, West Nile, and all other regions. Actually, today, the most upcoming region in growing coffee is Western Uganda. Speaking about coffee, we are speaking about Uganda in totality. So what's a crisis in Parliament? In Parliament, you are now dealing with a very big issue. Government came up, by the way, government of Uganda did not come up with the policy of rationalization. My 10 years as the shadow minister for finance, we made a case that government was too big, duplicating so many roles, being extravagant, and in our manifesto, we advocated for a lean, efficient government bureaucracy. So it's actually National Unity Platform that has delivered the agenda for cleaning up the extravagancy in government. And you should clap for ourselves. Therefore, there is nothing like the government was winning, because it is President Yoweri himself, no, it is General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni who abolished all these other things, Coffee Marketing Board, whatever. Therefore, General Museveni should not lay a claim that he is a grandfather of rationalization. It is actually assumed the case. Now, from our standpoint, we are not totally against rationalization of agencies. And in Parliamentary, Honorable President, Your Excellency, we have supported almost 90% of agencies that have been rationalized. And led by the able leadership of our leader of opposition, Honorable John Senyonyi, we've been able to support various bills. But for every rule, there is an exception. Even the government agencies, even the agencies to be privatized, to be rationalized by government, it's not all of them. Some have remained. The National Oil Company, the National Oil Authority, including Kampala State Council Authority. If they want to talk about duplication, just go to Kampala State Council. They have a minister and a deputy minister. They have an executive director. They have a Lord Mayor. They have a speaker, very powerful speaker. So if they wanted to crowd out duplication, they should have started with the KCCA and taken away all the ministers and blah blah, and we go back to the mayor being the head of that institution. But that's not to be the case, and we're not making that case. And they said the National Uganda Revenue Authority. By the way, Uganda Revenue Authority is also an agency that was created of late. It is also under the Ministry of Finance. Therefore, rationalization is not omnibus. So there are some agencies that needs to be spared. Now, why do we make a case for coffee? We grow coffee, export coffee, but we are not hugely a coffee consuming country. Ethiopia grows more coffee than us, but Ethiopia consumes a lot of coffee internally. Nearly 90%, almost 95% of our coffee is for export. The countries where we export coffee have become very keen because it satisfies you that the quality of the product you have exported, and for them they have imported, they are to a standard which will not cause health issues to their citizens. Therefore, for coffee, they accredited the Uganda Coffee Development Authority to have the power, to have the stamp, it is the only authority that stamps every bag of coffee that gets exported out of this country. And when that accreditation is withdrawn, you can no longer export your product to some particular countries. Therefore, the struggle one is that if you dissolve, because Section 4 of the bill talks about dissolving UCDA. But let me tell the country, the talk of 3 years being marketed is not anywhere in the bill. The bill does not in any way talk about 4 years. They are talking about a dissolution of coffee, UCDA, instantly. When you dissolve, instantly you lose the accreditation. When you lose the accreditation, you can no longer export coffee. And therefore, this move by government, I don't know in which phase, is to ensure that the new wealth that has come up with the adding up to 5 trillion is to really collapse the coffee. So we are telling the president, one, best practices for coffee. We are not the only coffee growing country. Ethiopia does, Kenya does, Brazil does, Honduras does, Vietnam does, Cambodia does, and a host of other countries. Now, the global market in its unique way for coffee is that coffee, not in any country, is being done through a main ministry. It is through an agency model. An agency model is like you have a special purpose vehicle for marketing coffee and growing coffee. And the thing about coffee export is about the quality of your coffee. However, the quality of coffee is not determined at export level. It is determined right from the nursery bed to how you organize your plantations, to how you harvest your coffee, how you dry it, how you roast it, and how you pack it, and how you export it. So along that value chain, you need a 24-hour monitoring capability by a specific agency dedicated to ensure that at no stage, at every stage, you have to get it through. Therefore, when you crowd out coffee and dissolve the UCDA and put coffee in the Ministry of Agriculture, which has all agricultural products, which has tea, tobacco, ware, vanilla, blah, blah, you may lose that eagle eye for detail. And therefore, you may affect the quality of our coffee. Now, for those countries, it is the question of a random sample. When you export containers of coffee, they just pick a container and say, we are going to check this one. Once they check one and it's not up to standard, they reject the whole consignment. Not the whole consignment, they review your accreditation. Therefore, if you want to rationalize coffee and put it to rationalize UCDA, you are removing an agency that has built expertise, capability, and knowledge, and the marketing capacity to market our coffee. And consequently, you will do so. We are not the first country to try to do what the government is trying to do. Ethiopia tried. Kenya, our neighbors tried. They abolished their coffee board and coffee authorities and mainstreamed the coffee. Once bitten, twice shy. If Kenya tried it and failed, and they are reverting back, they reverted back to the government, to the agency model, why do we want to reinvent the wheel? Why do we want to try something that has failed elsewhere? We are simply telling government, please don't do so. It's been tried elsewhere and found wanting. Secondly, if UCDA, because the argument of Genome 7 is that it is the Operation Wealth Creation that has led to this success, that is a wrong assumption. There have been so many, they could have played a small role. Operation Wealth Creation was only at a distribution of seedling stage. Seedlings they were distributing were coming from nursery beds that had been monitored and prepared, organized by UCDA. And from there afterwards, it is UCDA that has been taking over. Therefore, and also the case is, Operation Wealth Creation was not only for coffee. It was for vanilla, it was for mango, it was for Ulimawa, it was for many other things. Let them show us the success of those other crops. Let them show us success, how they've succeeded. Now, the Minister of Agriculture, the people from Chisoro, Kanungu, the Minister of Agriculture solely has been undertaking our tea. What happened to our tea? We lost accreditation. We cannot export as Uganda tea. What happens? We age our tea on the Kenyan market and it's bought by Kenyans, packed Uganda tea, packed and stamped Kenya and exported to the world. It has been under the watchful eye of the Ministry of Agriculture. They fed on fish until they are to put in the military. They fed on any. I've asked the Ministry of Agriculture to give us one crop which they can give us to build the confidence as a benchmark where they have succeeded. Absolutely none. Therefore, we are saying this agency, by the way, in addition to being a chairperson of Ghana Parliamentary Caucus, I also chair Public Accounts Committee, still cutters of this party, and I've just made a very fundamental report, SE, on the national economy, to which government up to now is struggling to put a response. But that's for another day. I've have just audited the Ministry of Agriculture. Your health what? Baby. Now, the president of the party, Honorable Robert Chabranch Setamu, in the morning, tasked me to come and explain to you why the parliamentary stand, why is the caucus. By the way, give due regards to our leader of opposition. For the first time in the history of Parliament, for as long as I've been there, and I've been there for 10 years, about 10, 12 years, for the first time, Honorable Robert, Right Honorable Joel Senior was able to rally a minimum number of MPs that are required to challenge a decision of a speaker. Because ordinarily, the speaker has been using that window of I, and nay, and past dubious things from today. That is what the record says by Joel Senior will not permit the Speaker of Parliament to pass any other resolution which is anti-people without people voting and Ugandans knowing who has voted. So they will no longer hide under eyes, have it, noise, have it, no. We will just stand up, photo of us and say, let's go to the vote. If the matter is that contentious, we will not do it on every other bill. But those that we feel that are so critical to the welfare of Uganda, I think thanks to the National Unity Platform and our leadership, that record, that ministry power for which Right Honorable Speaker Anita Among has been hiding to pass dubious budgets, dubious expenditure, Roko, Atiaka, where we can now have the number and the courage to challenge it. That's not a minor's achievement. Mr. President, also, our argument, because finally, we are saying our position as a caucus is that don't rationalize, don't abolish UCDA. Rationalization means abolishing, dissolving. Section 4 of the bill says we shall dissolve UCDA. We are saying best practices of goodwill is to do it through agency. And the President, Mr. President, you can no longer. And I think General Museveni is going to be hooked on this one properly. If he believes in it, he should wait. Mr. President, in the next 12 months, we shall find him down in the trenches. And on coffee, he's going to lose totally. So we are in it for a long haul. It's not an issue we are going to give up. It will not stop on, even if the martial numbers, this one, we will struggle and take it to the people of Uganda and they tell the president, hands off. Actually, there has been a propaganda, which I will use, Mr. President, in a minute to debunk. The president called me on the question of UCDA. The president did not call me. Read by the evidence.
Awo tuwulirewo nnyo ke Katambi akabadde katambula Muwanga Kivumbi ng'ayogera ne General Museveni ku ssimu kati annyonnyola yatuusa atya okwogera ne General Museveni ku ssimu yagamba propaganda era agambye ne President awulirizeewo nnyo kyatuusewo kitya.
Leadership of the leader of opposition, we agreed to do everything to talk to anybody to save office. So in the morning, we decided to meet the Speaker of Parliament and make our case. And please, you know, when you are weak, by the way, let us struggle to go to power. You plead with these people as if we are pleading with the angels on simple, obvious things. So in the morning, the Speaker knows. The caucus met the Speaker. And in the meeting, we made the case. The Speaker said, party people are downright, but my hands are tied. I'm sent to do this job by the president. And how much mistakes were a little bit dishonest. Without seeking the opinion of the caucus, she called the president. There and there, said, Mr. President, the caucus is here, it has made a good case, he thinks this bill is wrong, and therefore it should be removed. That is their view. And without even said, Chairman, here is the president. Here is General Museveni. So there were two things I could do: to refuse, and when I refused, she would have said, "It's you, as the chair of caucus, who refused to speak to General Museveni. So what do? I said, okay, give me that General Museveni. Immediately said, you want to do Muwanga. Womututu obuzabuza abantu osika Muwanga okola biki muli eyo mubuzabuza abantu temutegeera. Very crude and becoming of a president for someone he has never talked to. Then I said, okay, Mr. President, for me I come from Katambi. When I meet a stranger, I greet him with salam. Okay, salam alaikum. Then he realized that civil people don't start addressing others so crudely. And he sobered up and said, now, okay, now I hear you. Now, what I say? I told him, Mr. President, what the hell do you want our coffee for? I gave him all the rationale. I said, my government will not accept your propaganda, you are misleading people. I told him, Mr. President, you will accept. I used it now, you can't call the President General. I said, General President, our stand at the caucus, our stand at the coffee growing community in Uganda, leave UCDA alone. And the business was closed. He said, you go to hell. You are just another radical Muganda. That's why on the floor of Parliament, by the way, God is good. All the time, God is what? Now, the country did not know that this law had been brought to target a particular tribe until the Speaker of Parliament, on the floor of Parliament, now reviewed, she forgot to switch off the mic. That's when God was fighting for the people of Uganda. She forgot to switch off the what? The mic, and made a blunder of all blunders. By the way, in other countries, if it had happened in Europe, in everywhere, Anita Among would have resigned. Yes, as I'm NUP, I have other members of caucus who are not NUP. I have members of caucus of NRM, of DP, of CP, of Independent, as long as they come from what? This region. So when I'm in that chair, I don't necessarily take the national unity position. I tried to, even if it's a national unity platform position, I try to market it. But I try to try as much as possible to be neutral. Because that's the leadership code of what? Conduct. Now, the Speaker of Parliament is stopped by our rules of procedure to participate, to debate on a matter on the floor. But for her now to take side and say, do we have numbers? That means she had a side. Then use the staff of Parliament to say, please ensure these Uganda don't get the numbers. Now, the Speaker of Parliament in Uganda, we have the anti-sectarian law. So the Speaker of Parliament abused the anti-sectarian law, and as day follows night, when Parliament resumes, tomorrow we are sitting as a caucus again to review our stand, but we don't think two things. We don't think Speaker Anita Among can no longer preside over that Parliament where they have gone. Because she's not going to take us away. Is she going to take us away? We are there on the rights of people, so she will not do that. Secondly, we've said, told her, if we really want, offer an equivocal apology to the people of Uganda and to the people of Uganda. Certainly we have said, if you fail to do so, resign. The next action, I will not reveal it here, I need to first approve with our members. Which we are saying we may, in English. The President wrote the other day that we are tribal. That the people, now, of the things I've said about of what is tribe there. But let us examine President Museveni on tribalism, where he has a moral authority whatsoever to call any group tribal. This is the president, so to say, for the first time, who appointed a wife a minister, his wife a minister, his son a CDF, his brother a small president, his Mako running judiciary, running coffee. Now, can we talk about the tribe? For him, he's even beyond the tribe. Is family. But also let us examine. If he doesn't have a conspiracy, because at the end of the day, I read the caucus, if he doesn't have a conspiracy against the people of Uganda, Vice President, he said, is Yoweri Kaguta Museveni under his regime. Deputy is who? Arupu. Speaker, Anita who? Vice Speaker, Thomas who? Chief Justice, Prime Minister, there are 4. One is Nabanja, she's from Bunyoro. Deputy is Moses Sari. Third is Rebecca Kadaga. Another one is Nakadama. Let's go to his direct appointments. Chief of Defense Forces, Muhozi who? Chief of Police, Abbas who? Chief of Prison is who? So where do you, Mr. President, get the moral authority? You, Yenyonyodeko Ewa, to say a particular group is sectarian. You should go and sleep over that. Then on coffee, so we have debunked his notion of tribalism. Then on coffee, sensitive analogy. Some people, I bet one and others, have been trying to market some idea that we dismissed as a caucus. And let me stand here. 3 years, 5 years is not a position of the caucus. The position of caucus is for non-dissolution of UCDA. I've given a crude example for clarity. Can you take a virgin woman to a labor ward and say, let me keep you there, you are still virgin, that somehow you'll get a man, and along the way, you'll be pregnant, but you'll give birth in 3 months. You must be a crazy person. Therefore, 3 years don't mean anything. For us, you are saying, coffee is too big a prop to be under the Ministry of Agriculture. It's too big a prop to be under the Ministry of Agriculture, and we are going to do everything possible. But remember, members of national platform and the country, MPs are not enough. You people, I thank each of you who have been on social media, who have been using every platform, every media to amplify this message. Please, thank you so much. But let's do more. Tomorrow we shall announce an action plan on how we are going to fight this issue for the next 1 or 2 weeks. Members, and please, do a roll call of all members of the Uganda caucus who never attended the meeting. Where were they? Each of them must account. Where were you when coffee was being taken? No, that will never be in Uganda. Yes. Mr. President, I thank you so much, Your Excellency. Muwanga Kivumbi twasijja kulwawo ekyogera ddala pulezidenti tasobola kujja wano takyayina moral authority General Museveni tokyayina moral authority kuyita muntu yenna tribal. Teri ali tribal gwe kusingayo Museveni, gwasinga okuba tribal. Gwe president wa Uganda yakasooka okulonda mukyalawo n'omufuula minisita, n'olonda mutabani we naiti akulira amagye. Muganda wo Jenosali Musale y'omu kati alinga naye president omuto. N'akwata bakoddomi be, kati mpulira mukoddomi we omulwabo ogwo ngenda basomera wano kampani zemanyi okumanya Museveni alimba alowooza tuli badongo. Gwe twogerera yamaze dda okukontraktinga ebitongole ebimu okutunda emmwanyi. Era ngenda bibabulira wano nga mala. Mutegeera nti ekimutwaza emmwanyi ajjawo UCDA kugisa mu nsonda agiwe penalty. Kugisa mu nsonda agiwe ki? Lwabooko. Yamaze dda okukola endagaano ne kampani y'Abachina, Chinese Construction Company, okugenda okutunda emmwanyi wa China. Ekinaavaamu zino emmwanyi zijja kukola ebbeeyi ku faamu y'omulimi. Nolwekyo kukiya kya tribe Mr. President tukuyite mutabani naye gavumenti yo gye walonda General Museveni katugitunulemu oba Abaganda tubalinaako kikyamu olaba omusajja oyo Ssaabasajja nga mugagga nga mulwadde ng'ayagala obujjanjabi ng'abanja gavumenti ya General Museveni bilioni 2.5 teyasobola okumuwaako bilioni 5 musajja watu yejjanjabi omutya omulwadde alwadde akubanja n'otamuwa ssente n'otamusasula ki ssente ze nenekirala walonda kabineti katugitululemu ssebo omumyukawo alupo yewinidolo baprime minister bali bana asooka ye Nabbanja mukazi Munyolo amuddira Moses Ali ava mu West Nile amuddira Rebecca Kadaga Musoga owokusatu Nakadama Musoga siba Abaganda bakolaki Butera ye deputy chief justice Butera ne mubaloya nakusomya amateeka wano tofunayo wadde n'omu ogwakale beerako omumyuka wa chief justice n'ogenda n'olonda amagye n'ogawa Muhoozi Kainerugaba n'olonda poliisi n'ogiwa baasi n'ogenda n'olonda ki prison n'ogiwa byaki byabasajja kati atukwata yani ye Muhoozi Kainerugaba n'abaasi atusalira emisango ye Owinidolo atutwala okutusiba otusibisa wani w'abasajja ne kooti y'amagye ani agipulira by the way ani akulira kooti y'amagye abaana baffe tebabadde yani ne kooti y'amagye naye yamuki yamugabe nebengenda ku bitongole ebikesi ani director wa iso Magambo ani amumyuka Katabazi ani director wa eso badipisi bonna sibo president ebyamawanga biveeko sirika Museveni sirike ku byamawanga amawanga ye kyayi ye sapa ye dina gyolya ewaka waliyo ne byabakama yakulya akakiiko kaki k'ebyokulonda kakati gwe sebo musajja gwe General Museveni ojawa n'otengerera n'ossa ekiwandiiko kyabo b'amawanga teri akusinga kusosola amawanga okujjako gwe naye wali ogenda mu nsiko ate si National Unity Platform mugirabe Secretary General waffe ye Rubongo ya kiki ekyo oyo Muganda oyo Muganda kakati ffe awo twasukawo dda awo wooli mu mawanga emboozi y'amawanga giveeko tokubuzaabuza ensonga eziri mu ddiiro bbiri esooka emwanyi togikwatako eyokubiri Anita Mongo eyakoze byakola togenda mu mwekwekamu yekwekebwo ng'ogenda kutusaasaanya ku mawanga Anita must go. Kati ebyo by'otubuulira ebirala mboozi kinyumya obulala tulikinyumya nga tukutwale wa Mukama Katonda so totunyumya tetwagala abavuga ennaku zino bagamba tetwagala kola ki manya tetwagala kola ki manya twagala ebintu bibiri Paul Mwanyi giveeko Anita must resign zensonga mmeka biri kati totunyumiza mawanga biki birina batugamba kyemwanyi bajasi be bagikolako obulima abo bwe bakolako bulibwa vanira bwe bakolako aliwa bayinya abantu obusaanyi buliwa eyo minisitule gy'agacca totwale mwanyi zaffe nakamala gikolako audit eyo ye minisitule yagula embuzi mukitegera yagula embuzi emu obukadde 7 embuzi emitwalo 2 ne zifa mu wiiki 2 nga baziguze obukadde buki buli mbuzi zafa mu wiiki 2 waki okyali embuzi naki ye minisitule yagula tractor abatamanyi tractor ekikola tractor hydraulic system eno yesitula yagula tractor nezitwala Karamoja nga tekuli number plate naye nga zagenda nga hydraulic system zaazo tezikola ziri eyo mu Uganda zonna eyo ministry bagiwa okutambuza amazzi ag'ennimiro etulageyo pampu n'emu eyo ministry ndwadde covid eri mu ICU tosobola kutwalayo bebi waffe emwanyi yagana nokuleta mnanas. What happened? Ebyenyanja byagirema buli kimu kyakikola ki nekirema kyatasobola kuluma kutuusa mu mawanga. Mwebaza ababaka ba Parliament ensanvu mwomwe nsonga tekagenda kukola ki kukola okakozesa kukumanita mongo eyagenze n'akola ki mu General Museveni. Eno ensonga tegenda kukola ku nsonga eno, tukkirize tukutwala nekumugambe na kino mu abantu bawa lubalembera ng'ebirokokoze ki kati buli omu twebaza abali ku social media. Waliwo omwana yakinkoledde senga mumanyi, yagenze n'akuba emmandwa n'akuba omutongozi emmandwa kanyunyusi yakoze omulimu. Waliwo abawala tulabye nga boogera ebigambo ebirungi ku social media. Buli omu gyali speak so act like so, tujja genda maaso, tujja kuwangula Ssaabasajja Kabaka awangaale. Kakati banzijukiza wano giri emyaka 2 entyaba egibwanika esatu ebyo bibye 5 ebyo bibye fe position ya kokasi ebikirya ekyo Simu nze Muwanga Kivumbi nsulira ne President General Museveni enamba yange tagiina. Twali twegayirira banange tubonaabona twegayirira Speaker ku makyalo titutegeere tuleme kugenda mu Parliament kulwana nekunga ababaka ba Parliament bonna abatagala mwanyi tugende tusinkane Speaker. Betuba twali twogera ne Speaker kati ngamba tegedde nnyo ngambulabika muli batuufu nnyo, ensonga zammwe ngeze ez'amagezi, ensonga zammwe nga eza common sense, naye n'ensonga President yagintuma zisobola gibasalirawo mu ngeri y'olukwesikwesi. N'akwata essimu nga tuli mu meeting awo n'ababaka bonna n'akubira President nti amubuulire bitwogedde. Oba tyabimubuulira bulungi nabanga tabitegedde bulungi, naye mukazi wattu oluvannyuma naga nti kale ne kyamaani atwala abaana ababaka waali jogera naye nga tuteze bukodyo bubiri. Betugana okwogera ne General Museveni ajja kugamba nti ffe twava abantu ffe twawaayo emwanyi twagana okwogera ne President. Nengagali nze ndi musajja ate oyo agenda kunkola ki? N'agimpa n'atandika mu ngeri etali ya bulijjo. Nangamba kumaze ebbanga lyonna ng'oli mututu nga nkunoonya. Nangamba nti kakati gwe oli eyo musirwaza abantu, mwonoona abantu, musiga bukyayi bw'amawanga. Nayombera eddakiika naye musajja gwe n'enkola eyaffe ey'okufirika omuntu buli gw'otamanyi osooka n'okola ki n'omubuuzaako. Ne bakale nze yakuzibwa obulungi kankutolere salaamu kamuguze ku mpisa benamubingiza ku mpisa olwo n'addamu ak'omukale ogamba ki ne munyonyola bimanyonyodde ku mwanyi kyemwanyi giveeko togikwatako y'abantu baffe ye maama ye taata ye tubeezaawo kireke ne munyonyola by the way wakati w'emmwanyi n'amafuta nemugabagana amafuta kwoteredde ebitongole National Oil Company bisaawe ebiki senga tugasima okumala emyaka 25 tugenda kufuna billion US dollars 22 ebyo biri mu ndagaano billion dollars 22 okumala emyaka 25 si buli mwaka mu myaka 25 billion dollars 22 ngolo bagambe dola baro y'amafuta ejaggula $5 olwaleero baro egula 10. Lwaki amafuta gano gonna ge mulaba bakubajejerebu bakola biki tugenda gafunamu billion dollars ng'eggwanga kubanga endagaano mbi nabanyonyola ddanga ne finance minister kyamafuta Museveni yagatunda tetunakola ki tetunalaba General Museveni 10 buli mwaka tetugenda kwanga tukola ki nga tufuna mu myaka 25 emmwanyi ejja kubeereze billion 75 n'ekyo diiru y'emmwanyi esinga ey'amafuta ogenda owala kyokola malese lwabugo alese simanyi inspire Uganda agiwadde abachina peneti twamugobesa bugobesi mutugire peneti mu nsonda wali waki waali Ssaabasajja Kabaka awangaale ne mugamba twala eriko ebintu byo tubiwulidde tukutegedde Katonda omulungi ono atali anguzi laba omukongozi we Aniti bwavaayo n'atunyonyola bulungi ekyama ekiri emabega kyatagetinga Baganda. Mwamutegedde yewe kiserense bali kunonda n'empulira n'embeera finance minister n'embeera chair wa kokasi n'embeera chair wa papa senga sigwe senga siriwo ompadde ne ku sente Ssaabasajja Kabaka akole ki mbirombi banyimbikola lwa President Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu akulumyazi eyolewo ekiseera kyonna.
Byebyo ebya Muwanga Kivumbi Yenyonyodeko kamwanyi kafe ne simu ye gye yayogera ne General Kaguta Museveni teyamukubira wabula yali ayogera ne Speaker Ntamongi n'amugamba chairman uno naye wano yogera naye abinyonyonde byonna nga bwe byali era tulina kulemera ku mulamwa kati tulina okusigala kwekyo fena kye tugamba nti akamwanyi kafe tekakwatibwako era tulina okuteekawo ekibuli tulina okwongera okuzuukusa abantu ensonga eno yakwongera kusisimula bwongo bw'Abannayuganda. Bannayuganda bongere oyo okuguka amaaso bongere okwetegeerera bamanye nti no balina okwetegeerera balina okutegeera ebikolebwa ku ggwanga lyabwe era bamanye nti buvunaanyizibwa bwabwe okujja ebikolobero ebyo nga tujjawo omuto omukulu General Kaguta Museveni. Eggwanga laffe lijja kuterera, eggwanga laffe lijja kunyuma, eggwanga laffe lijja kweyagaza, eggwanga laffe lijja kuba lya mutawaana, eggwanga laffe lijja kuba lya kitiibwa, eggwanga laffe lijja kuba lyesimisa. Kati nno gwe nange n'oli ffenna tukakatibwako okukola ensonga eno okulwana olutalo luno tutereze ensi yaffe tutereze eggwanga laffe ate nga kisoboka era kijja kusoboka era tujja kweyagala Uganda bwe nebanga tujjawo nakyemalira. President Kyagulanyi Ssentamu Robert Bobi n'abeeranga akutte ekintu kino ekino nga akiwambaatidde bw'ati eggwanga laffe ligenda kuba lya mulembe era tujja kulyeyagalira. Mbaagala nnyo Omukama bakuume mweraba.